Okay, I've got the driver's side out. It was pretty easy, just 4 bolts and a few electrical connections.
Okay, so you can see that there are a handful of connectors under here, but the only ones you need to disconnect are this one, and to do that you just have to push in on the end of this tab, and it lifts it up over the plastic, slides right out. And this one, and this you just have to push in right here and it'll disconnect. At first I thought I was gonna have to disconnect that one back there and maybe some of these, there's one here on the seat rail and there's another one back there, but all of those are part of the harness that just sits on the seat, and you just need to disconnect the seat harness from the floor harness, which is right here. And to do that you just have to disconnect this one and this one.
Alright, so now that I've got the driver's side here, I'm going to start by getting the upholstery off of the backrest. And the cushion, I can actually unbolt the pan of the cushion. After talking to Leather Seats about the easiest way to do it, they suggested just unbolting the seat pan, so I'll do that, but I'm going to start by getting the upholstery off of this backrest. And there's just a clip here on the back that has to get unclipped, and it's actually already unclipped. It looks like it came loose over the course of time. So I'm just gonna push that through. Alright, so I've got a hog ring listing right here. We'll go ahead and get those hog rings on. And on the back side, there's a couple more hog rings right here. The guys at Leather Seats told me about these, and their covers do not have this connection, but it shouldn't really matter. It's just kind of there to sort of hold things in place. You're putting a lot of real heavy stuff in the mat pocket, so I'm not real concerned about it. But I do need to remove them. Okay, remember to push your plastic bezels, through the upholstery as you're working it off. All right, even found a Samsung charger hidden inside there, so that wasn't too bad. Next step is going to be to get the cushion uninstalled. Right, got the seat up on the table, and to remove the cushion, I just have to undo 4 bolts underneath here and a pan completely removed from the seat frame that has the cushion on it. So it's just a 13mm bolt. I'm just going to put a wobble joint on there. All right. Now, I've also got a couple connectors I need to disconnect right here on the seat belt. This looks like it's an active seat belt of some kind. So this is 2 tabs to undo that. And this is just a simple single tab. And okay. There we go. All right. So I'm going to get the upholstery removed from this cushion here. Remember, this is the one that might need some foam repair over here. We'll just have to see once we get it off. So, just have a clip right here. Okay, now there's a couple of tabs right here that just have to be popped out. Yeah, these edges all around this pan are really sharp. So you just got to be careful not to cut yourself. All right, so I've got a hog ring connection here, and then one here, and on the same side. So I just need to get those hog rings pulled. Okay, I want to hold on to this so we can refer to it if we need to. And here's the foam that may need to be repaired. You can see we're getting some pretty bad cracking right here. And it's actually the edge of this frame right here. It's actually slicing into the foam. So I'll probably have to do some repair on that. Okay, I'm gonna get the steamer ready, and I'm gonna get out my supplies and see if I can make some repairs to this foam. Okay, I'm ready to start making some repairs with the steam, but I went ahead and pulled the diffuser off of this hose, and I just took a piece of electrical conduit and bent it over my knee, and it fits right into this hose. So what this is going to do is just give me a much more direct channel of the steam. So hopefully that will allow me to get more steam into the foam exactly where I need it. Okay, I've been able to make some pretty good repairs to this. As you can see, actually this foam had been so compressed that it was sitting inside the frame rail. It's actually supposed to sit on top of the frame like this. and I've been able to get it to pretty much completely recover just by using steam. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some jute, which is this. It's basically like a super thick, it's kind of like a felt. It's like the backing of carpet almost. So I'm going to cut a piece of this jute and I'm going to glue it onto the frame right here. And then I'm going to glue the bottom of this cushion to the jute as well. And that will kind of hold, I'm thinking that that's going to hold this foam in place, because what's happening when you get in and out of the truck is you're rubbing on this bolster and it's pushing it down, and it's eventually pushing it down inside the frame rail. So I think by gluing jute to the frame and gluing the foam to the jute, I can also cover up this sharp edge, which is what's cutting into the foam right here. Then I'm just going to take some of my scrim foam and probably cut a strip right here and glue it on, and then I'll probably cut a bigger piece and wrap it all the way over to kind of pad this up a little bit. So I don't think I'm actually going to cut into this foam and glue new foam in. I could do that if this foam was bad enough, but I think it's going to be okay if I just get jute on the frame and use the scrim foam. So this glue, this is the glue. It's a high strength spray adhesive. You definitely don't want to be inhaling, smelling it when you're spraying it, so I'm going to spray it outside. So I'm going to get the jute trimmed up, and basically you want to spray both surfaces and let it sit until it gets tacky. And then once it's tacky after 5 or 10 minutes, then you stick them together. So I'll do that. When I'm done with that, I'll bring the cushion back inside and show you what it looks like. I've sprayed everything. I'm letting it sit. As you can see, I sprayed the frame as well as the bottom of the cushion. And then I also sprayed my piece of jute, and I cut this scrim foam, sprayed it, and I sprayed the side of the foam. So once it's tacky, I should be able to just take the jute and glue it to the seat frame, and then set the cushion down on top of that and let the cushion adhere to the jute, and then basically take my scrim foam and glue that to the side. So this stuff is definitely smelly. I mean, I'm outside in the open air and I can smell it, so you definitely want to be in a well ventilated area. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I'll come back once it's glued together and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've got the jute glued down, and it looks really nice. I conformed it right to the pan. Then I went ahead and sprayed a bunch of adhesive onto the jute so that when I glue the foam down to the jute, there's a tacky adhesive on both sides. And once I get that down, I'll glue my piece of scrim foam there to the side. Alright, pretty happy with the way that turned out. As you can see, I've got the scrim foam glued here, and I actually glued it to the edge of the frame rail right down here. I've got it glued to the foam. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a big piece of scrim, and I'm going to actually cut it and glue it all the way under and all the way around, all the way probably to the edge, close to where this listing trench is. And I'm hoping if I can do that, that's just going to hold everything together. And then I'm going to let it get good and dry before I try to put the upholstery on it, and we'll go from there. I think that's going to probably take care of the foam problems for me. Alright, I'm about ready to apply the glue to both of these, but I just wanted to sort of show you a little bit about what I did. I just took the scrim foam and I kind of laid it on here and did like a rough marking with a pin on the shape of it, and then I just cut it out with some scissors. But one thing I was noticing is I want it to wrap all the way around and be tight around this bolster, but the shape of this bolster changes, and so I may have to cut, I think I'm gonna have to cut a relief right about here. Which should allow me to be able to wrap the foam tightly, which is definitely what I want to do. Okay, that's a little better. I think I'm probably going to need to go a little bit deeper with that relief. I'm left-handed. Scissors never really work for me very well. Okay, so if I've got that wrapped, that comes like so. That should be able to, that'll probably do it. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to show that. I'm going to get the glue sprayed, and I'll come back, show you what it looks like once it's attached. All right, I've got this bolster repaired, and I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. As you can see, I've basically wrapped it underneath this lip, and then all the way around and onto the bolster. Basically, pretty close to this, where this trench falls off. So I'm gonna let this thing sit and cure for, I don't know, a couple hours. In the meantime, I can finish up the backrest and come back and get the cover installed on this. Okay, I've let this cushion sit for a while, and I'm pretty happy with the way the foam repair went. I've gone ahead and steamed the rest of the cushion, so I'm ready to start installing the upholstery. Seat cover is basically in place. I need to do a lot of work with these seams. You can see they're going all over the place. It's up here, it's down here. This one's not really in line. This one's way out of line. This is the bolster that I repaired, and you can see it's, it's bigger than this one. And so I think I'm just gonna have to work with putting a lot of steam in there and seeing if I can kind of get things to start looking the way I want them to look. another clip on this side. I can't remember. You can see there's just these plastic things, and the holes on this don't really line up. The holes on the frame are way down here. I'm gonna look at the one that I pulled off. It's this one. And yeah, it just has same thing, a strip and plastic piece. Well, the holes on this tab don't really line up with the holes down here. I can get one of them to line up, I think. I might just have to cut another hole in the plastic to make the other one line up. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. My seam is fairly even. I'd like it to be a little bit more on the side than on top where it is. I think I can probably massage that down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. This side, which is the side that I repaired, actually looks remarkably good. You can't really tell that there's any unevenness in here, and I think after a few weeks of someone sitting on it, it'll look real good. These seam lines are pretty straight and in line. This looks like it's nice and horizontal. All my salvage on these hog ring connections, this one all the way here, and then these two seem to be sitting down nice. I don't have any, big bunches or unevenness on any of the seams. So, pretty happy with the way that one turned out. Now I just need to get this installed back on the backrest, and the only thing left to do is the headrests. Okay, I'm ready to go ahead and get the backrest covers installed on the driver's side. So I'm going to start out by putting some steam in there. I'm going to get them turned inside out and rolled over this first part of the backrest where I have a hog ring listing connection right here. From there, it's just going to be a matter of kind of rolling it down and working with the Velcro, and hopefully it goes pretty well. upholstery started. I've got it rolled down to this first hog ring connection, and the main thing I want to look at this point is if these Velcro listings look like they're pretty well lining up with these Velcro attachments and the foam. It looks to me like they do. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these 3 hog rings and keep working the upholstery down. See how it goes. Okay, I'm not going to worry too much about getting these Velcro listings into the Velcro right now. I'm just going to try and get the thing rolled over, and then I can get in there with my steam and really start to work it and get these Velcro listings just the way I want them. So. Okay, got it basically in place. I'm going to move this up to the table, put it on its back so I can try to work with it a little bit better. Get some steam in there, see if we can get everything sitting just the way we want it to. All right, I've moved the seat up to this table. As you can see, it looks like it's a little bit twisted. These 2 listings aren't really exactly in the right spot. This seam is way too far over the front of this bolster. So I'm going to, I'm getting the steam going. I'm going to get some steam in there, try to loosen it up as much as I can, massage it over, see if I can get it to look right. And then I'm going to really start working these Velcro listings down into their trenches. This listing looks pretty good. It looks like all the seam salvage is sitting into the listing pretty well. And I don't really have too many wrinkles up here, so I'm fairly happy with the way that looks for the time being. All right, these bolsters look pretty good. Here and here, it's really hard to tell if this listing is perfectly straight. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's actually slightly going up. It's just at a slight angle, a little bit higher on this side. So I think the only way I'm going to be able to fix that is to pull this Velcro up and really pull down and try to refeed that Velcro in. So let's see if I can get that to work here. Okay, I think that's better. You may notice I do have some wrinkling here and a little bit here. And this is above this hog ring listing. So I am going to need to cut the holes in the top here to put the headrest in. When I do that, I can always take my steamer and snake it down through those holes and get a little bit of steam in these corners to try and tighten that up. This one doesn't look too bad. This one's a little bit loose. I could probably help it with some steam. I'm still not perfectly happy with this seam on this bolster. So I think I'm going to pull this Velcro out one more time and work this seam over just a little bit and then work the Velcro back in. Okay, now I just got to get the bottom zipped. See how it looks. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to get a little bit of steam up here just to kind of sort out the wrinkles on this seam here. See if I can get things to lay a little bit better. The seam looks pretty straight going across the back, so I don't feel like I need to do much adjustment to it, but a little steam might help tighten things up. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right, so the zipper's never easy. If we can get this one. Actually, that one was pretty easy. See how that looks? Real nice. I'm real happy with the way this seam looks. This listing looks like it's nice and horizontal. Both of these look like they're good. The seam looks pretty good on both sides. The only thing I have is a little bit of wrinkles here and here. I think I can work those out through the top using the steamer once I cut the holes for the headrest. So I'm gonna get this thing back down on the ground, cut those holes, and we're almost done. All right, it's time to cut the holes in the top for the headrest. You just wanna be real careful when you do this because you don't wanna cut it too big. I definitely start small and go bigger as you go. So I've got my box knife here, fresh blade, and again, you just really wanna be careful that you don't cut it too big. You wanna locate each headrest bezel. There's one there, and here's the other one. You want to make sure when you're cutting it that you're not pulling this seam anywhere. I want this seam to rest without being pulled. So what I'm just going to do is basically cut a rough circle. Okay, so I cut through the leather, but now I have to make sure that I get through that scrim foam. There's also a layer of backing underneath the scrim foam. Now you could cut an X instead of cutting a circle, but because I need to stick the steamer in through here to steam out some of those wrinkles, I want to cut a circle so that steamer will have plenty of room to get in there. Okay, so I need to get a little bit bigger around here. I'm just going to start small. Okay, now I'm going to do this side, same thing. Start with a circle. Okay, these are good. Next thing I'm going to do is get my steamer going. I'm going to snake that steamer through this hole down into this corner so I can work out the wrinkles here, some of the wrinkles here. Okay, I've got my holes cut for my headrest. And I'm going to use the steamer to get in here and try to take care of some of these wrinkles. So, you got to be real careful doing this because you can actually cause damage to the leather. So I'm just going to keep a real close eye on it and be ready to pull that thing out if I see the leather starting to shrink too much. And to make sure that I don't damage the backing foam on the upholstery, I'm going to work it down in there. Ooh. Okay. You can see I'm getting the steam right here. See how that looks. Okay, it's definitely tightening up. I think I need a little bit more though. I said you just want to go a little bit at a time. There we go. That's a lot better. Still a little bit think I can probably do a little bit more. I'm gonna let it cool for a minute. I'm gonna come over to this side. Okay. If I do a little bit more, and I think I might want to try to get into some of these edges here too while I'm at it. Okay, so this is definitely taking a long time. I'm putting a lot of steam in there. But it just takes quite a bit to shrink up as much leather as I needed to shrink up. All right, that looks a lot better. You can see these wrinkles are all pretty much gone. So I'm just gonna get the headrest bezels inserted. To do that, I'm just gonna kind of work the hole around the bezel. Okay, there we go. Now I'm just gonna get the cushion installed back into this seat, and then I just have to do the headrest.